Good afternoon. Welcome to Trend Talk on PEP 100.3. This afternoon show is where Nigerians' hottest topic gets the hottest takes. In a country where social media moves faster than traffic in Lagos, Ibadan, everywhere in Nigeria, we are cutting through the noise to bring you the trends shaping our world, from viral sensations to serious issues shaking the nation. So this afternoon, we are going live with the topic that is putting foundations in hot seats, which is funds under fire. It is funny to hear funds meant for charity, hospital bills, education, and other developments allegedly vanishing. Are foundations accountable? Are clerics preaching peace or profit? This and more we'll be discussing today. My name is Temitope Adisa. I'll be your anchor on this program, this afternoon show, Trend Talk, and the topic is funds under fire. So let's break it down. Foundations are crucial for supporting vulnerable groups, and but when trust is broken, it hurts everyone that are involved. We've seen cases where funds meant for healthcare, education, and poverty alleviation are allegedly siphoned off. So, who is watching who? To help us to unpack this, and joining us live today is Barrister Kemi Ogunshade. I hope I'm correct with your name.
Very well.
She's a legal expert with years of experience. Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
And I also have with me a very prominent pastor, is Pastor Akintayo John. Thank you for being on seat today.
Thank you.
So now, let's just dive in. Pastor, I'm starting with you.
Okay.
How common is foundation embezzlement in Nigeria? Welcome back. Sorry for the short break. Pastor, back to you. The question I asked from you earlier, that how common is foundation embezzlement in Nigeria? Because this is so common.
Anyway, from my own understanding, you cannot really say anything is common. You can't really generalize.
How?
I think it depends on the individual. We can just say that corruption is common in Nigeria, and it affects both the private and public sector. It affects both the public and private sector. So it's all about what is affecting the humanity in the nation. I don't think we should relegate it to one side. I think it's general corruption. Both the politician, the foundation, what is common is common. We can't generalize. So it depends on individuals.
Sir, we are not talking about politicians today.
Yes, I know.
We are talking about individuals collecting money from donors,
Yes.
and promising people, the less privileged, that they are going to help them,
Yes.
maybe for their hospital bills,
Yes.
maybe for education or any other thing like that, for their development, for their life.
Yes.
And eventually, this money didn't go to where it's supposed to go. So they are siphoning it into their pockets.
Okay.
So what could be the cause of all this? It's very common in Nigeria. If you go on social media, you see people are dragging this and that. Promise, and eventually nobody's delivering. So why is this common nowadays? Why are people using that medium? Maybe like upgraded, I don't want to say
yes. Now for
theft.
Me, yes, for me, why I said we cannot generalize, that it depends on the individual, is this. Normally, there are some that are actually doing well, but there are some that are not actually doing well. And the problem is, like you ask, what is the cause? I think poverty is the cause. Because it's not everybody that meant well. Not everybody that actually have a vision for what they do. So poverty is one of the reasons why this is becoming common in our nation. And it's becoming so general. So I think the problem is system that is not working. You see, where system is working, there will be oversight. People don't just drop money for just anybody coming on media. Their integrity you should go after their integrity. You should be sure whether the foundation is actually registered. Do they have a body that oversee their activities? Do they give feedback? One of the
somebody that is desperate will not even look for anything as such. You are desperate for money, so you still be looking whether this thing is.
No, I'm talking about the donors.
Okay,
I'm talking about the donors.
Yes, okay.
Anybody can come out. Anybody can come out to say anything, but the donors should look carefully to what they give into. You see, one of the problems with our nation is that, number one, we are sentimental and emotional. Institutions, they don't get emotional about giving. They scrutinize before giving. So where there is no oversight, there will be abuse. And I think one of the problems we are having is because there are no more oversight. So there have been abuse of misdirected funds. In a place where system actually works, you don't do things anyhow. That's what I think. I think because there is no oversight, people are doing what they like. So in a place where there are structures, in a place where system works, in a place where there are laws and regulation being effective, I think this will not be happening.
Barrister Kemi, what's your view on that?
Well, I think we need to start from the basis, because if you're talking about foundation, what kind of foundation are we talking about? We may assume that people know, but of course not everybody knows what foundation is. Foundation in this context simply refers to the non-governmental organizations, otherwise called NGOs. And of course we have many NGOs now. In fact, Nigeria has a proliferation of NGOs, and most of them just stay in one cubicle and they carry on their support. Then what are we now talking about? That we have NGOs. How guided are they? They are not, and they are. It's a yes and no answer with no specificity. So why is it that so I'm trying to remember the question. Why is it that the foundation, why is it that their embezzlement is common? Embezzlement is common, as Pastor has rightly said, because number one, there is poverty in the land, and also there is corruption in the land. Of course, poverty will beget corruption. However, where there is contentment, then corruption will live. But of course, how many of us are contented? A hungry man can never be contented. So poverty and corruption is actually one of the major reasons for embezzlement of foundations or NGOs in Nigeria. That's why most of them embezzle funds. And of course, a lot of unsuspecting people they wouldn't know the motive behind the foundation. They would just go in there to, let me help you. And it is common now that social media has made everything
They're just
worse.
using people to collect money, to make money for themselves.
And in you making money, there must be accountability. Exactly. You are making money for who? Who gets what? But because we don't have a regulation in Nigeria, we don't have the wherewithal, we don't have a system that is working in Nigeria. That is why a lot of people can just do anything and go scot-free. Again, poverty and
one of the major causes.
Yes, poverty and corruption they are one of the major causes of embezzlement in Nigeria, and also greediness too.
Is the major.
Okay, Barrister, you being a lawyer, So what do you think government can do about this? Are Nigerians law doing enough to tackle fund misappropriation? What's your angle?
First, we must have a regulation. We must have laws. For now, the only laws that we have on that regulate NGO is the Companies and Allied Matters Act, which deals with registration of NGOs, and of course, where NGOs have gone foul of the law, they can be punished. But of course, we need to have an NGO or a foundation tailored regulation. Once we have a foundation tailored regulations, that will send a signal to founders of these NGOs that it's no longer business as usual. There's now a new sheriff in town. You can't just do anything and go scot-free. And of course,
many people are going scot-free.
A lot of people are going scot-free because we don't have regulations in it, and we don't. Of course, we have EFCCs, we have law regulatory agencies, but how many people get reported? It is some stories are trending because the people affected have chosen not to keep quiet, and of course, because of the nature of the people involved. What about unnamed persons? What about people that we may never know that are falling prey of these menace caused by foundation? And one thing about law is, if you don't go and report, nobody will investigate anything.
Okay, Pastor.
Yes.
How do you think that donors ensure their money reaches the needy?
Yes, like I said, there should be a follow-up. There should be an update. If you are donating to any organization, number one, you should ask for feedback of what you are contributing. I'm contributing so to this. At times, if it's a gigantic project, you don't give at once. You give bit by bit. You give based on feedback. There should be report. There should be feedback. Okay, there should be transparency. Okay, this so money has entered. This is how far we have done. You don't continue to contribute money. We have contributed so. The donors should request for feedbacks of what they have given before
they have given out.
Yes. There should be feedback. There should be regular reports on what is coming in and what we are using it for. You see, so because most, especially if you follow the trend on the news, you will discover that people are just giving without giving feedback. They will just show a shallow something they have done, a shallow, not a due report, not a transparency report. If you look at institution, normally there should be transparency. This is what we have done. There should be what we call updates. There should be updates. So I would suggest that before you give to any foundation, be sure of their update. Are they giving updates? Are they transparent? What have they done in the past? What have they done in the past? What can we refer to that they have done in the past? Don't be emotional and be sentimental. Once you see anything on social media, first consider what is the integrity of the people involved before you start giving.
Many people are even crying, they are wailing on social media. Many people are being dragged. In fact, that place is very hot presently.
Foundation is a new gold.
A new good for making money.
Yeah.
Oh, kia. Maybe like 419.
Nobody talk about that one. Of course, I can easily have something and I go on there. And when you are talking about integrity, a lot of them have integrity at the onset. And at the end of the day, they make people trust them because I would not want to use the C word, the C word. So a notorious C word criminal probably will not tell you that I lack integrity. The person will actually play and ensure that you like him, and of course by the time the person gains your trust, you now feel comfortable in your own skin. Okay, fine, I've done this for him, he has shown me what he has done with it, and of course he can be trusted. And unknown to the psychological of criminals, as we lawyers used to say, is they lure you gradually, so by the time you enter they will strike. And at that time you are no longer demanding for accountability. It will not be from accountability to why I thought I trusted you, so how would you betray my trust? So again, it goes to individual. It is more like individual preferences. I'm giving it, and of course, we are in a highly stereotyped country. Nigeria is so stereotyped that we call ourselves Afunima Wobe, that Kako, Ashishe Lada, Ashishe Olore. We don't investigate.
They don't even look back
We
at
don't
all.
look back because we count it as sin. Meanwhile, in foreign countries, I'm giving you $20. What did you do with the money? And of course, now we have a way of sabotaging that one too. We always cook up. Of course, if you go online, tell whatever intelligence to create old projects, backdate it and everything, you come out with a whole lot. So it's neither here nor there, as I earlier said. It's just about individual. If I'm giving to hey at every time, what are you doing with my money? Accountability should. Transparency too.
Yeah.
Not that you are transparent for the first 5 years, next 5 years you are being shady, I'll withdraw. Then also, people should learn to speak out. Even all the holy books said that, people perish because they lack knowledge. And this is the knowledge we are bringing to them. When you notice that something is going, you give, you thank God this is an educational station. You give money to somebody, the man, what did you do with my money? And by the time people we start putting ourselves on the
There should be a follow-up.
There should be follow-up. And of course, the moment people see that you're asking me, initially you have given me what exactly is your problem. You have no business with whatever I do with it. But I tell you that money I did labor for it. So if I'm giving you money, I need to know that I can either give you more or, refrain from giving you for that. Let me go and invest into something that is more productive.
So we have talked about donors, and I think some of these donors, they don't even look back like what both of you stated in everything you've been saying all this while. But let's talk about the beneficiaries. What's their fate when funds are being misused? Pastor, I will start with you because you have a congregation.
Their fate, they suffer loss.
And your wife is a psychologist.
Yes.
Told me that.
Their fate is that they suffer loss. No, that's number one. The purpose or the motive is not being achieved. So, in fact, they are the one at the wit's end. Really, they are the one that suffer for the whole thing. So I think one of the things we can do is to retrieve whatever been, maybe asset recovery. So you see, this thing borders down to system working. Like whether the donors are being affected or not, it borders down to, are there being oversight? Are there monitoring groups that is what will beneficiary do? The only thing they can do is to cry out. And that's what we are seeing
they are really crying out.
They are crying out. So we now need more.
There are many stories online. There are so many people crying out and people are being dragged.
So the cry should not be ignored. There should be investigations. There should be investigation. There should be committee that are monitoring those money that are being given out. What do they do with it? How can we retrieve the money back for the donor? Because if you are not careful, we just realize that it's just trending. They will just shout and nothing will come out of it. So except there is a body that investigates this thing that they are crying about, is it true or not? I think there should be investigation. When people know they are being investigated, they will be careful. They will not throw caution in the wind the next time. They know that any money I collect from people, they will investigate it. So once you know that there will be investigation, I'm telling you, people will not throw caution into the wind. They know they can be investigated. They know they can be brought under criminal, they can be sued for criminality. So when systems start working in this country, people will tread with caution. They won't do things anyhow because they know that once people are able to voice out, they will investigate me. Nothing will be taken for granted. And until we come to that end, there is nothing the beneficiary can do. They will only cry, they will only suffer loss. Motive will not be achieved, the purpose will not be achieved. So we need investigation.
We just pray that they are not suicidal.
Yes, so because as a result of this, some maybe, I remember those days, during the time when all these CBEX, some committed suicide because some, their hope has been raised, and when you fail, then it affects them psychologically, it affects them mentally, even the shock that the money are dependent on that. For somebody, they are contributing to hope it's high. The hope is high, and all that you can see is that nothing is working again. So it can affect them psychologically. It can affect them mentally. In fact, some may not recover from it. That's why you see a lot of people committing suicide, because their hope was lost. The system they believe in failed them. So we should come to the head of people. All of us, we do it together. Nigerians, we come together to do it together.
We have a few minutes left. Barrister, what penalties should those found guilty face?
Well, under the law, for NGOs that have deviated from their specific objectives under the law, number one, they risk forfeiting their licenses, they risk deregistration.
They don't even have license.
So definitely they can be.
They're just coming on social media.
I mean, it's illegal operation.
They can be
collecting money from people.
They can be held liable for diversion of funds, for conversion, for fraud, and of course, it's a criminal liability. And of course, they can also be liable for returning the looted funds. So in returning the looted funds, the question is now to who and for who? Is it to the sender or? So as it were, looted funds may be returned either to the sender, or there may be direct obligation to ensure that the beneficiaries get the money that they deserve or get the respective benefits. But for the corporate, the risk being the risk being delisted, and also the risk facing several criminal charges, which they may never get out of it at least in a long time.
Okay, we have a few minutes left. I have one particular question before we round up this afternoon. But before I ask that question, I want us to go on a little break. Please stay tuned. Don't go away.
Is looking up to something. By the time you fail him rather, it means the system he once trust had failed him. Already he's going through crisis already. And now here comes help on the way. And the help he now trusted now failed. That can be psychological. That can lead to depression. That, in fact, some might not trust anybody again, because it's like you are adding salt to their injury.
Because they felt betrayed.
They felt betrayed. So they might start withdrawing. They may not open up to any help again. I mean, that can lead to their death. That can lead to their
depression.
Death. Depression, yes. Depression will come in. And nothing kills faster than depression. No matter what we are saying, nothing kills faster than depression. In a state of being depressed, anything can happen. So we need to really understand this psychologically psychological effect on people, on the beneficiary rather.
Okay.
So yeah.
So, Barrister, what do you have on this? What's your take on this? What will you add on it?
On the suicide mission, a lot of people embark on. Depression is real, and a lot of people are working cops.
Yes.
And it's not only for foundation, it's for individual lives, because a lot of people are just waiting. And for what should they do? Number one, get people around you, talk to people, speak out.
Exactly.
By the time you speak out,
to stand up for you.
Yes, statistics has shown you that people who often speak out, unless they have the risk of being depressed less. And of course, by the time you now speak out to get all the help you want, if some people had not spoken out, a lot of things would have happened. And of course, there should be social media awareness. There should be awareness for our youth that come on. Whatever problem you face in life is not the end of the world. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And educative programs should be heard. And of course, all thanks to Pep FM that is coming at this time to save people from suicide, and to save generations unborn from doing which ordinarily they would have done. And in doing this, when people have the knowledge of something, they are going to act better. And in acting better, the society is becoming sane again. We now have a society to trust and to believe in.
Can I add this to it, that you see there are professionals?
Please, we still have 1 more minute.
Okay,
just 1 minute.
Okay, there are professionals you can speak to. Don't die in silence. No matter what you are going through, help is on the way. There are professionals, there are therapists that can help you. So speak out to people, they can save you.
It's only in Nigeria that we don't pay for therapy.
Exactly.
Abroad is always a must. Go for clinical therapy, go for sociological therapy and all.
Because we are not literate.
So, Pastor, thank you so much.
Yeah.
You said people should speak out when they're in depression. Yes. They need to talk to people, particularly some of these beneficiaries when they are already depressed and there is no trust anymore. Thank you so much for joining us today, Pastor and Barrister. I really appreciate you for being here. I hope if I call you again, you'll be here once again. So the program is Trend Talk on PEP 100.3. My name is Temitope Adisa. Thank you for joining us. So bye for now.